In a league of exponential growth and talent at the wide receiver position, many fringe 1,000-yard receivers are often overlooked and forgotten, even the consistent ones. Today I'm going to talk about and appreciate a genre of wide receiver that don't get their flowers. We start with one receiver in particular that I think perfectly fits the theme of this video about as perfectly as anyone else. Brandin Cooks. Cooks came into the league drafted 20th overall in the 2014 NFL Draft. Bleacher Report stated at the time that, quote, due to the depth in this year's class at receiver, he may fall his second day. But from a pure talent perspective, it's difficult to argue that Cooks isn't a first-round talent. Drafted later in the first round, Cooks was overlooked because of other talented prospects such as Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans, Odell Beckham Jr., and even at times Kelvin Benjamin. Cooks wasn't the sexy pick for the, at the time, first-round caliber wide receivers. Standing at only 5'10" and around 180 pounds, Cooks was criticized for his size, long-term durability, and his ability to come down on 50-50 balls. In Cooks' rookie year, he played in 10 games and started 7 and accumulated 550 receiving yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. Cooks was once again overshadowed by his competition in Odell Beckham Jr. and Mike Evans. After that, however, Cooks reached a level of consistency and production no one thought he could have achieved. Taking away the year 2019, where he was with the Los Angeles Rams, Cooks would eclipse the 1,000-yard mark every year until his last 1,000-yard campaign in 2021. Personally, I think the reason Cooks is not talked about more is the fact that he has not once in a season reached the 10-touchdown mark, which is a valid markdown on his game. However, Cooks early in his career was an elite field stretcher, averaging 16.6 yards a catch in 2017 for the New England Patriots, while later in his career he became a reliable third and short receiver as well as a good slot threat. In 7 years, Cooks reached the 1,000-yard mark 6 times, never once receiving a spot in the popularity contest known as the Pro Bowl, and 0 All-Pro selections. This isn't a knock on the wide receivers of the 2010s because we all know how talented the wide receiver position is becoming and how it was. However, more of a realization that having a career like Cooks and still earning no honors shows the level of talent there is in the league now. Sure, Cooks is underrated, but there were hands down better wide receivers than him at the time. I mean, arguably his best year in 2018, Cooks had 1,204 receiving yards and wasn't even the leading receiver on his team. Robert Woods was. Another multi-1,000 yards a season guy. Jarvis Landry, Jordy Nelson, Adam Thielen, Tyler Boyd, and then you really get into it with the fringe 1,000-yard guys, or even under that still played vital roles during their prime years. Guys like Devontae Parker, Christian Kirk, and Willie Snead. There's so many great careers that you and I don't even remember. One receiver in particular holds a special place in my memory. That receiver is Devontae Parker. Madden 21 Devontae Parker is a different beast altogether. Everyone who's ever made a Madden franchise has that 175 to 82 overall receiver who then turned that receiver into the next Randy Moss. For me, it was Devontae Parker. You never really know why it was them. Maybe they had a crazy DK Metcalf-esque build, or maybe they had 90 and up speed and acceleration, or even a whip and drag route merchant. He was your most dependable player, just like how they were for years for teams all across the league. The importance of the 1,000-yard forgotten receiver wasn't to drown us in highlights or be what you think is your favorite player. Their job is to make the first down on a 3rd and 7. Their job is to be reliable on passing downs. Their job is to be our favorite receiver even when we don't realize it. If your favorite superstar receiver isn't performing, you'll always be able to watch the 70-yard and 1-touchdown performance that the forgotten 1,000-yard receiver will put up. Yeah, I love Jamar Chase as a Bengals fan, and Julio Jones mostly because he's the player I watched the most when I first got into the sport. But if I think about it, it all comes down to Madden Mobile Jarvis Landry, Madden 21 Devontae Parker, and playoff Gabe Davis. Yeah, and they might have not been the greatest receiver of their team or, the best guy that you've ever seen. They might not be a Jamar Chase, a Julio Jones, a Randy Moss. But you know that they're going to come out and show out every game, and they're going to give you all they can. I mean, the amount of micro stories, like the amount of just stuff that these guys have done over the years, and you never really think about it because you made a bet that Hunter Renfrow might get 8 catches this game, and he does it. He wins you a lot of money. But then, you kind of forget about him because he's not really like the top tier wide receiver. And, that's something I really want to touch on today in this video. Is just kind of like, remembering these guys that really made an impact without being heard. Those guys that maybe get 1,000 yards a season, maybe 900, maybe 800, 6 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, whatever. But there's going to be times that they're going to show up and they're going to get it done. I just want to thank y'all listening to my little ramble there. I just really been thinking about, all the little stories that people have with these guys and all the good memories you got of them. And I just wanted to hear more from y'all. If y'all want to let me know, just in the comment section, I know I'm not barely anybody watch me, but, because it's been a while since I posted and I wasn't consistent with it. And I made a very hot take on Abdul Carter and James Pierce Jr. But, I appreciate hearing what you guys want to say, what stories you guys have. It's always nice to hear those things. All right. Y'all have a great day.